realistic about it.
You? Oh, no, Daz, come on.
See, as we get this series on in front of you guys, Complexity versus the General NRG. I mean, you know, it's just about showing up on the day sometimes. I usually don't use that term a lot, but for these teams, you got to look at who's been playing well. Are we going to see Justin step up? Or are we going to see Complexity, who were so close in their last series, where they went the distance against version 1? Will they have that same level of performance? Already some offense starting off as Shad puts a shot on.
Garrett trying to channel his inner Justin there and catch up to that ball that was just ricocheting across. He could not, as AJG's effort denied by Squishy. Y'all heard it here first, everybody. Daz does not think NRG is going to win.
I didn't say that.
You said you weren't drinking the Kool-Aid. Justin's shot gets by AJG as he was being chased around in the goal by Garrett, and it's 1-0 NRG.
Yeah, you see that demo come out, and then Justin also got the fake on the play. Everything worked well there for Justin. NRG on the board early. Great offensive push from them.
What do they have for an encore? Justin up against Raisbull. This kicks right out for Garrett G, who's been given the time to play this ball to the corner. Complexity trying to play a little bit slower, but here comes Shad. His pop saved by Justin, and more importantly, controlled by Justin from the backboard as NRG goes right back to work on offense. NRG playing with a little more confidence. Point-to-point passing. Squishy coming from on top of the backboard. Can't get by Raisbull. And Raisbull let that first touch get a little too far away, but then the dunk sets up Shad and Complexity. Game on.
Yeah, this one a little weird coming out from NRG. Good 50 from Raisbull, but Garrett just kind of gave up the net. And Shad, I mean, he'll score that every day. Complexity with the tie and lots of time left on the clock, and it just goes to show this one could go any direction.
AJG against Justin. Got a piece of him, but Garrett G comes in to the rescue. Squishy for Garrett, and great job by Raisbull jumping in front, not letting Garrett G get set up. This goes all the way across in the direction of Squishy. And he couldn't take over. That kicked right out for AJG. Here comes Shad waiting, and he'll go underneath the score.
Oh, look at that. Offense from Complexity. You see him going for some bump plays, too. Garrett very uncomfortable in the net. Raisbull got a piece of his Finnick, so he couldn't reach there in time to stop the goal from Shad. Well done by Complexity.
First minute belonged to NRG. Second minute belongs to Complexity. We'll get into the third minute in just a moment, but NRG on the attack. Squishy. Indirect for himself. AJG intercepts, so now Garrett G doesn't have enough to follow this play up, and Shad will dish that off to the side where Raisbull was waiting in the air. Neither team particularly in a hurry to move downfield. They're not throwing the ball away. They're not employing any kind of dump and chase strategy. It's a lot of deliberate passing. Almost like both these teams are kind of taking this opportunity even to work on a few things with not a whole lot of pressure on either side here.
Yeah. If anything, pressure probably would be on Complexity. And you talk about the Worlds conversation, we are midway through the season. They need as many points as they can get. So even though the chance for the major is gone, still getting those individual points to help them reach over other teams for the World Championship is just as important, which is why I think that they're still going to try to give it their all, but they know that, okay, let's still take this carefully, as they haven't been playing perfectly all split, and they want to be able to keep up the consistency.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about this kind of being the final test for Complexity. They certainly came into this event knowing they needed to win and they needed some help, and they could still win this whole event, but all the help that they could possibly get at this point would not propel them into the major. With that said, the test is, how have they improved from day one of the winter to this final weekend? And I think we can all agree, Daz, it has been a marked improvement as this happens to fall right through all of NRG, and AJG will just roll it home.
Yeah, AJG literally just gets the lightest touch possible. Light touch, doesn't jump, doesn't do anything, and NRG kind of outplayed themselves on that play. 3-1. It's Complexity in full control of this game.
NRG trying to break out of their funk here as this goes all the way across, and Garrett G got this in front, but nobody else was there. Squishy too far back, maybe expecting a power clear. Squishy will try and set this one up. Garrett G coming on from the wing, and his shot blocked away by Shad. Outside of that first 90 seconds or so, Daz, NRG hasn't threatened too much at the Complexity half of the field. The Vamos defense has been on point. This goes across and rolled off of Ray's Bull. That disrupts NRG just a little bit. And this fan favorite in Complexity, while the Verizon fan vote didn't quite bear that out, certainly feeding off the energy from those loyal supporters they do have.
They're gonna need a little bit more than that, and they're gonna need something like what Squishy just put in. Beautiful work done here. You see Justin taking his time. It's the high flick. He sees the chance for the backboard. Ray's Bull has to be able to make a connection with that, because if he doesn't, Squishy's gonna put it on target.
33 seconds for Complexity to hang on in game one. Justin up top, boy, we've seen him score so many clutch goals. Even when he's so-called slumping, still a threat at any point. This goes across for Ray's Bull and not cleared away by Justin, so Garrett G has to roll to the corner, and he's taken out by Ray's Bull. Another big clear by Squishy, but not across the midfield line with 10 seconds left. Shad trying to burn away these final few seconds, and Ray's Bull puts it home.
Ray's Bull able to secure the game. Shad just simple pass. He pumps it right off Squishy, and again, defense not looking good at all for the General, and easy goal for Complexity. They've been getting a lot of these for free. You can see it on the cams. They're more than happy to take it.
And so the final few seconds burn away with that strike from Ray's Bull. Complexity takes game one. And hey, they stood toe-to-toe with the #1 team in the region and did not flinch. Complexity up a game.
Up a game, and at best of 7 here. I mean, you look at the numbers, everything in favor of Complexity, especially. I mean, putting on 10 shots against NRG, and almost half of them going in. Where you see it even when you look at some of the replays, the bumps worked out well, making the defense uncomfortable to the point where, I mean, Garrett going off the ceiling for that one, and there's no one jumping. He has a full free touch there. So definitely looks a little shaky on NRG side. Complexity of just playing their game.
As somebody once said that I happen to say a lot, we've seen them in this spot before, Dazarin. NRG down a game, not playing at their best as they haven't been all weekend. They have 4 lives, now make it 3 lives in this series. We go on now to Forbidden Temple for game number 2, and the General will still try to turn things around against Complexity and break their hearts once again. Championship Sunday on the line here, as Justin will start things off right at Ray's Bull. Squishy waiting back, and now he will play this. And given so much time and space, and more often than not, you give him that much time, Daz, he's gonna burn you.
We've seen a lot of teams, get taken down like that. Complexity gonna have to come out with a different approach. Garrett will try to clear it away. You see Ray's Bull up very early. Like the fact that, that light touch to the back wall, getting that extra control, super important, but there's a little bit of a disconnect on defense, and it's a free top left shot for Squishy.
Doesn't matter what's going on, he's still got it. Shad and AJG run into each other. Squishy, upper 90, 40 seconds gone by, and maybe this is the turning point for NRG.
I mean, even if NRG on defense are giving away the ball a little bit and becoming a little antsy, it doesn't mean that their offense is lacking. You know, when you give Squishy a free shot, of course that's going to be, you know, put on placement. Another one in the different corner. That time that's top right. Squishy again.
You can't give him these looks and expect to be successful. I mean, AJG is in the area. He has a sense of where Squishy's going, and he still can't stop him. 3 goals now for Squishy in the series, both here in game 2 as well. AJG up top, got to the ceiling, and he's able to challenge this. And even then, Squishy manages to do just enough to disrupt the effort of Complexity. This goes downfield. Squishy got the bump, and Garrett gets the goal.
It's a good bump and a good open net here as the pinch happens. And no, you're not going to get back in time, AJG. It'll just roll in. NRG up by 3. And you said it, they've been in this situation before. Now we're starting to see them turn it around.
3 goals in the span of about 35, 40 seconds. And Justin almost converted another. Trying to keep the floodgates wide open. Garrett G plays over to Justin, and now NRG starting to look just a little bit more like NRG. Squishy up top over AJG. And Garrett G will have this on the side.
Oh.
Over to AJG. Just how long can we keep this going? Out in front, raised ball denied by Justin G.
And there's no G there.
No, there really isn't.
As Shad's up, looking for a follow-up touch. Justin, we'll leave that. Garrett got sent to the ceiling, and Squishy will have to come in and try again to back and forth right now in that midfield space. As you want a 3-goal lead, you think things are still comfortable here for NRG. But again, going back to the group stage, we've even seen NRG score 3 goals in a game and you still drop that game. So not to be, just don't take your foot off the gas yet if you're NRG.
Especially not an insurmountable lead for a team like Complexity that when they do score, they very much can score in bunches. So AJG won this through, but it's right at Garrett G. Raised Bull going to have a second touch, perhaps. No, he ran out of boost. And so AJG doing all he can to get in Justin's way. But I got a piece of that ball as Shad lobs one right back into AJG. Not a ton of boost on the side of Complexity, but they've done enough to slow down NRG and keep the pressure on. But they come away empty-handed, and NRG back on the attack.
Oh,
there's
man.
Garrett Parr down 4-0.
Chad picked that ball up when he was low boost to just try to make sure Justin didn't get a 50. Didn't realize he didn't have that much boost. Squishy with a good beat, and became a race that Garrett G dusts the defender to. Now 4. The tally mark continues to go up for the General NRG. It's sitting at 7 shots right now from them. 3 coming from Garrett.
It's a pretty good conversion rate, too. I mean, you see a team score 4 goals. A lot of times they've done it with 10, 11, 12 shots. NRG has been deadly efficient. This shot blocked away by Garrett G. Now AJG up top. Justin's got this. Nobody around for Complexity. They're just one and done on the offensive end as that gets behind AJG. Raised Bull's got to chase it down. Garrett is waiting, and he'll just dump that in behind the attack. And NRG looking to move downfield again, not content with only, by their standards, a 4-goal lead.
Yeah. And just seems like yesterday and even the start of today, not what they want. Trying to build off that, get some clear dominant wins, I think is always going to be a good sign of a effective play. Minute remaining on this one. Complexity definitely looking towards the future as they got to shake this game off.
Well, the good news is, after this game goes final, again, barring a miraculous comeback at the hands of Complexity, there will be no reverse sweep shenanigans to worry about jinxing. Both teams looking to go 1-1 here going into game 3. In this long best of 7, Justin maybe looking for one more, but Shad shuts the door on him with 30 seconds left. Now Garrett G for himself, and he scores! Incredible!
Hat trick for Garrett, playmaker for Squishy. Beautiful first touch off that back wall, and the follow. He still had a dodge on that. Oh, well done.
top play worthy for sure. Yet another highlight moment from Garrett G. And a 5-0 lead for the General NRG. Closing in on an equalizing win here in this best of 7. Raise Bull will score little more than a consolation prize at this point for Complexity. But at least they see the ball go through and they get a little physical play on Garrett. So maybe therapeutic if nothing else.
Yeah. You know, getting one towards the end of the game always good. Like you said, it's a long best of 7. So need to see just a little bit more things work out on offense is always a good sign where you don't get shut out. Especially
I was gonna say one thing we've seen more often than normal for NRG in this series, Squishy directly involved in just about every scoring play. 3 goals, 3 assists through 2 games. Normally we see Squishy kind of playing the table center from afar. Outlet pass maybe to Justin, who sets up Garrett. Has not been the case here. Squishy getting his hands dirty. He gets the playmaker. Garrett gets the hat trick. Justin gets to enjoy a win, and we move on to game 3.
Yeah, I mean, Squishy has 100% goal participation there, involved in every single of the 5 goals. So it's really good work there. And NRG bounced back, which is going to be really good because, again, this is still for them going through the lower bracket. This is their first time in the lower bracket and showing that they can still play up to pace despite all of, kind of like the general talk about what's been going on in terms of their performance. I think is always going to be a really good sign, especially when we get towards these later in matches. So Complexity, now they're going to have to respond at a big game 3.
Complexity might have had a bit of optimism after seeing how NRG came out in game 1, thinking, hey, all right, maybe we got them at not their best still. And then game 2 rolls around and maybe you're getting NRG at typical NRG levels. We'll see as we get now into game 3 here on DFH Stadium. Squishy playing one to the backboard. Shad's got the initial touch, but he will not get through Garrett G. Raise Bull will have to come in from behind and play that as Garrett's demolished behind the play. And AJG, the culprit there, can't get the shot through.
Oh, man, Shad a little too fast. That ball get away from him. And it'll also get away from AJG. So third man challenge from Raise Bull in the midfield line. It is going to buy them some time to reset. Just at the right time, too. You saw a good shot from Squishy.
Raise Bull trying to line up a double at angle downward, though. And Squishy comes across with Justin kind of hanging in the air in the center of the goal. Might have had that lined up anyways. And now Garrett G stuffed by Shad. First minute goes by. It's a stalemate in game 3, but Shad with a drive gives Complexity the advantage.
Good work on Shad. This play starts, and he's upfield, says, AJG, give me a pass. Great cutout and placement on point. He's feeling it. Third goal for Shad. So he leads his team now in this series. Garrett G looking for an answer, and he'll find none as Shad just whips one right by. Maybe another power clear coming out of AJG. It is. And it was not particularly well read by anybody. Shad has that deflected away from him. Justin not going to be able to stay with this play. Maybe he will after the demo by Squishy. And Justin scores his second of the series. Look at this. Gets played through, demo on the ball, and open net. Things like that, those transitions, getting aggressive, always have been, pretty good foundational play. And you see it there then.
I mean, Squishy has done it all, hasn't he? He's been an enforcer, and then Justin scores this after Complexity couldn't keep it out of harm's way.
Okay. AJG in a tough spot, has to make a read and didn't make contact towards zone net. So unfortunate play there for Complexity after a great goal Shad scored. It all falls apart so quickly.
I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. All 3 members of the General NRG, 3 goals apiece. The assists vary only slightly. AJG skying one up for Shad, as Complexity now has to figure out which head of the Cerberus they want to try and neutralize. And I don't think there's any good answer. Now Raise Bull trying to set up Shad. The backboard and power clear away by Justin, only as far as AJG. Good positioning, bank shot, and AJG's shot denied by Squishy.
Good save from Squishy. NRG gonna look to move the other way. And the way that this team can deal with offensive pressure and completely just turn it around. Love to see it, but more pressure still coming. Oh, Shad! Just barely missing out. That would have been a great goal if he made contact.
And that might have slowed down NRG as well, make them respect Complexity's reads just a little bit more, but they come up empty. And now this goes right at AJG. He'll play it out to the corner where Garrett G was waiting all along. And another ball played all the way across for Shad to send downfield. And Justin takes over from Squishy. Here is Squishy, yet again. Indirect for himself off the ceiling, and that's a critical touch by Raisbull because Justin was waiting for a mistake, but none was coming. So now he'll try to create his own opportunity, and AJG shut it down.
So Justin using those mechanics. And Squishy also, the team has been feeling in terms of offensive pressure. But Complexity have been able to perform, and we've seen them get a lot of close pass plays, even another one there in midfield. Shad gonna take his time. Good carry. Great second touch to get past Justin. It gives a lot of room. He's still staying on top of the ball. Won't be able to get a demo. Squishy's really up in the air really early. But that setup is going to buy a lot of real estate here for Complexity. They just got to hold on to it. As you can see, Garrett clearing away the danger.
Both teams looked to have established a lot of momentum after that awkward moment there. After their individual wins in Game 1 for Complexity, Game 2 for NRG, respectively. But this has been much more even. Justin down for Garrett, and that's deflected out to the corner. Raisbull giving chase as Squishy plays it right back to the opposite corner. Down to 40 seconds. Justin for Squishy, and a 2-goal lead for the General.
It's looking like they're in sync, Stacks, finally. This one, you see Shad trying to get that pop out, but Justin had a good read on it. Turned that into a pass play, and Squishy hopped at the moment.
Justin, again, this is all relative by his standards. Kind of quiet until this particular game. He's got 2 unassisted goals, and he helps out on Squishy's strike there. And of course, his defense has stifled Complexity for the most part. He'll launch this downfield for Squishy again, and he almost got there ahead of Raisbull. Now to 20 seconds left. Complexity got to score right about now to give themselves a real shot at a kickoff goal to tie things up. And Justin brings us right back whence it came. One last look for Complexity, or not. Squishy has that off the side. Garrett G will let Justin take over. The final few seconds will burn away, and NRG takes 2 in a row, up 2-1 in the series.
Well done from NRG, back-to-back victories, and this is just something that is starting to become standard for them. NRG is now first in North America for win percent in a series after losing Game 1. This is in best of 7 specifically. I believe they are 11-9 and I believe 3-4, so like 55%. Yeah. So I mean, the amount of being able like to just adapt over time has been very key for NRG. I mean, this is a team that doesn't take tactical timeouts. So now we're seeing them do more of that adaptation over the course of time. And a Complexity, you can't say that they've been playing bad, so to speak. They've looked really good this tournament. The best they've looked this split. It's just NRG understanding, okay, we got to make an adjustment. What's that look like? And they execute every time.
Look, we could show you a whole bunch of numbers here. I got a bunch written down. Look, all they equate to is NRG is really good. That's really all you need to know. They have just some bizarre numbers that set them apart from the rest of the field in almost every situation. And they always seem to find a way. Up 2-1 in the series now as Justin will dump this down into the Complexity end. And Garrett G couldn't control, so Raisbull gets a shot. AJG couldn't get the midfield boost, and Squishy scores an open net.
Just a long clear downfield. Defense caught out. I think it was really, AJG was racing Garrett G for some side boost. And Squishy saw it, said, all right, we'll just sail this one in.
Lost the race, lost the lead. 1-0 to NRG. Shad off the kickoff. RazeBull bumps into him, trying to propel this a little further, and AJG couldn't get a touch because Garrett G just got that away from him. Everything coming up the general NRG now as we get into game 4. Complexity's got a lot of work to do to stop this momentum. A goal here would go a long way towards that goal, but not happening this time as Justin wins the challenge, and Shad will have a full tank of boost, but an awkward ball that he has to wait and pop up to his own backboard. And then AJG gets taken out, so slight numbers advantage for NRG that RazeBull deals with, but he couldn't keep possession.
And still trying. There's Justin.
I thought he was going to score that.
It definitely was possible. A little tough. And, oh, that's a bad back pass. You see RazeBull jumping on top of it. Now Shad, quick offense here for Complexity. Now it's going to be a transition. Garrett G in the air. What's he going to do? Does he have two? He does. He dropped it down, but just off target. Would have been a great play.
Complexity hanging on, down just one goal. 90 seconds gone by, and an opportunity here denied by Justin. And look how great the rebound control there was. That didn't pop out to an oncoming attacker. It died right there in front, so his teammates could come in and also play that ball. NRG not letting Complexity get those second and third chance looks. And as a result, still 1-0 to NRG.
3 minutes left in game. Plus, he's trying to get a little creative. You see these passes downfield, might be a chance. RazeBull won't be able to get it past Squishy. AJG looking for a pass to Shad. Shad is sitting there on the wing, gets a demo on Garrett. Can RazeBull get there? He can't, but Justin was there at the goal line. That one won't count for Complexity, even though they worked so hard.
Physical plays, it opened things up for NRG against Complexity. They tried to return the favor, they're still trying. RazeBull got one demo, and that's all he's gonna get. Shad keeps this in front. AJG turns and goes under, Squishy to tie.
Good patience from AJG on the goal. Again, Shad, I mean, that's a great read to get the pass out. Because he's in the air, someone else makes contact with the ball to set that up for AJG so he can get the light touch. Great stuff. Complexity just making things work with what they got.
Popped up by RazeBull now. Complexity, some new life in game 4. Looking to tie this series up. Again, our last series of day 2 of the Mobile One Mountain Classic. We hope you've enjoyed a very exciting day so far, even though Space Station Gaming not a part of it. Their fans certainly happy with the results so far, as their team has clinched a spot in the major, as has version 1 with their stellar effort, guaranteeing at least a top 3 finish. Now Justin will leave this for Squishy to take over. AJG's bouncer denied by Garrett G. Nobody else could follow up the play, so now Shad will take over. Yeah, AJG way to his right. Instead opted to bring this back to the middle where RazeBull can play further, and Garrett G stops that dead in the corner, and this is out downfield from Justin. Oh, AJG, bouncer. Oh, he needed one more touch. Nearly got there. This will angle downward, and Justin had it all the way.
Minute left here in this game, and you look at NRG, a team that is constantly talked about, whether they do good or they do poorly. You know, we talk about the bigger picture, and people look at NA versus EU. Actually, sometimes it seems like it's NA versus NRG versus EU. It's NRG gonna pick up that one. Justin with the read on the defense, and it's an open net.
Yeah, this is kind of the Achilles heel for Complexity. They've left the net open far too often, and it may burn them for the last time here in game 4. 51 seconds. And the kickoff goes right to Justin. So tick-tock goes the clock, even more seconds burning away. Shad coming on, couldn't get in Squishy's way, so AJG has to wait at the back. RazeBull collects a full tank of boost, and then he's just got to burn some of it, driving around in a circle just to get to that ball because NRG beat Complexity to it. A whiff by AJG, opens the door for a shot here that's denied by RLCS. That ball sitting right on the goal line. Nearly could have put this game away, but still some life for Complexity. They have to recover, though, and get some offensive pressure, and that's a good start from RLCS. Got too far ahead of him, and Squishy, what a great fake challenge, forcing that out of RLCS. Popped away by Justin with 8 to go. Squishy came up empty, though, and this is still on target and in. Sometimes it's just your night.
It is. And then finally, after a lot of bad nights for NRG, they get a nice little pinch goal. Justin will take credit for it. Just a poor challenge there from Complexity, and we're starting to see a little bit of a collapse here.
NRG drops the first game 4-2, and since then have outscored Complexity 11-3. The beasts have been awakened. As we move on now to game 5, Dazarin, and I would imagine if Complexity has any hopes of coming back, you can't take your timeout with you into the offseason. You'd think they might take it here, but we haven't heard any word of that yet, so does seem like Complexity is just going to ride this out the same way NRG did against FaZe a couple weekends ago and see where the dice fall.
And maybe they just want to just keep going. Totally could understand that. Seeing just exactly, some of their play, they have been able to kind of keep up in terms of like the speed with NRG, but I think it does come down to some of the important 50-50s or like touches in possession. What is Complexity doing with the ball, so to speak, as they are not calling a tactical timeout here. They're just going to keep playing on. I feel like maybe they have some momentum going. They just want to use that and push it forward towards the game.
And maybe they're just thinking, hey, there are some situations where, the extra couple of minutes won't make that big a difference. We'll find out. So we now go into Wasteland. Could be the final game of day 2, unless Complexity can do something about that. Here goes AJG with RLCS to his left. Just could not connect. Led him a little too far. AJG trying to pop one out for Shad. He has done so, but Shad got knocked away by Garrett G. Couldn't follow the play. Now we'll see if RLCS can set anything up. He can't. Squishy just too strong at the back, and he'll disrupt Shad's efforts as well. So Complexity is at least has the possession to start game 5. Haven't had anything yield from it as Garrett G barely made the save on AJG.
Good defensive stops from NRG. Complexity trying to strike off the gate. You see Squishy there with the pre-jump. Looking for a way in. But still, pretty even here. Both teams been kind of trading possession, trading opportunities.
Always got to keep your head on a swivel more than ever this season with how physical teams are and how important demolitions have become, especially from a team like NRG. Just outpacing Complexity, and then Squishy goes under the ball, takes out Shad, but no follow-up from behind the play. And this, near the mark, RLCS couldn't convert. Missed opportunity for Complexity, and they won't get many more like that.
It is a race up and down the field. Now, maybe a chance here. Squishy, does he have another touch? No. Justin will play 50 there, and it'll be Garrett who has to buy time. And even then, he's just maneuvering around the defense as Complexity's been trying to demo him since he took the ball from his own half.
I mean, there's just no time to be satisfied with the cool play you just made. You make the initial stop, you've got to worry about the next man coming in from NRG. Finally, a shot gets through. AJG gives Complexity the lead.
AJG is setting things up. He's hanging around on the wing, gets a really good 50 play straight towards him. And, I mean, that's picture perfect. Beautiful top right shot.
AJG from RLCS with 3:03 to go. Is this the sign of the turnaround that Complexity needs? RLCS around the corner, only as far as Justin. And that play from AJG just to no space in particular. Certainly to nobody. But they don't get punished for it. Complexity keep NRG off the board on that counterattack. This pass goes across and Shad was way, way back. So NRG can take over after another turnover. Trying to dip that one underneath Shad, and Shad didn't take the bait.
AJG with space.
Oh, numbers. They've got numbers. They got to score here, right? They don't. Oh my goodness. How many chances have Complexity had, Daz?
Oh,
another one that this is just chaos in front, and that shot's high. On any other day, Daz, this might be 5-0. Instead, it's a tie game as Squishy scores.
Out of all that confusion, Squishy picks up the ball with 100 boosts in the tank and just carries it home. Complexity. What went wrong? A whole lot on that offensive drive, and they couldn't recover.
An absolute comedy of errors over the last 45 seconds that Complexity can't convert on. And after all that, they only have conceding a goal for their efforts. Razebull tried to drop one out to Shad, who was just waiting patiently until Garrett erased him from the field. And now Razebull pumped the brakes on the ceiling. Bouncer still loose around the goal line. That's a great defensive effort by Squishy.
Good turn the other way. NRG still trying to see if they can, build up on that lead. Complexity have been, efficient in getting the ball upfield, but working with that has not been successful for them. Some of their opportunities have been so close, but yet so far as they got to stop the transition. Squishy, does he have the read? He does, but it's off. Oh, it would have been a beautiful top left corner goal. He'll have to try again. Infield pass. He was looking for Garrett, but Garrett was looking for a demo. Miscommunication will give the ball to Complexity.
Nobody's going to win this game. Somebody's just going to survive. And it might be Complexity. That one's blocked away, though, by Squishy. And AJG is there to block Garrett's effort. This goes downfield. Squishy tracking. Garrett G going after Shad. Chase him into the goal. And Squishy scores!
Oh, man. He's feeling it in the air. Going for yet another one of these. That light touch out in front gets the follow-up. And even though AJG is up in the air with him, he just can't stop that goal.
We've seen Justin score back-to-back unassisted goals in this series. Squishy's done it as well in one of his finest offensive performances of the season. 7 goals now in the series for Squishy. And none more important than that one that might propel NRG to Championship Sunday. Complexity looking to score 2 goals in a game for the first time since game 1. They need to prolong the festivities here as Squishy collects right on the crossbar. Looked like he was going to run out of real estate. And this is deflected by Shad. Garrett G is up, though, ahead of Razebull's defensive effort. And Razebull's got to turn on this to get to AJG, but he's not on the field anymore, so Justin can take over. Down to 12 seconds, and Justin might have put NRG into Championship Sunday for good.
Yeah, that one. Control, plays it past Shad. Even with being bumped, still putting the shot placement on. NRG keeping things going. They look really good here, Stacks.
For all the talk about how NRG, yes, they lost to randoms. They haven't lost to a team outside the top 10 in over a year. They hadn't been giving up more than 5 goals in a game to anybody other than FaZe or G2 until this weekend. All that history, throw it out the window. NRG back to Championship Sunday yet again.